I don't need that microphone. Good morning, good morning. Welcome. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm just going to do a quick audio check. Oh, there we go. Perfect. I hope you guys are having a good morning, evening, or night, because it's quite early here, so I'm guessing some people are late in the evening. Anyway, welcome. Thank you for sticking around. Sorry about the ad break. I accidentally clicked the button. Didn't mean to. I don't actually make any money off Twitch, so I try to keep it that way. But yeah, today we're going to be continuing on with our durable functions. So yeah, the last stream was quite an uneventful stream because we spent a bit of time messing around with our function app and we couldn't get to it. We tried running in Docker, that wouldn't work, and there were so many broken things and kind of just gave up. Thought about it and then decided, all right, we need to obviously continue on with this because it needs to be a durable function app. Kind of want to finish this product. So I had a bit of a play around with it last night, and it's always amazing for me because I usually fix things so much quicker off stream than on stream. So I pretty much found out that durable function apps recently entered public preview, which is exactly what I wanted to hear. So what that means is that for people who are using the initial durable functions Git libraries, you have the issues with you're going to have issues because what happens is when you update your npm packages, or if you update the core function tools pack, I usually just use Node to update it. That basically now contains all the templates and required libraries to be able to actually run it. So there are a few changes that I did find, that are especially around with the orchestration starter. Activities are generally much the same, but if we go on the orchestrator starter, where is that? Get some to it. There's an orchestration client now, so it's a specific type. It's that type was changed. Most of it, the rest of it was pretty much the same. So that is pretty much, there's a few other things, and I have to go through and clean up my libraries. I'm going to probably do a bit of a cleanup today as well and just purge the archive when I'm when I'm good and ready and I have a working product. So obviously I don't particularly want to send that all up to the cloud. That's just kind of dead data. So yeah, so that's pretty where we're at. I had a bit of a play around last night. Debugging is still broken as all hell. So if I do a wait debugger here, I can basically, execution will pause on that. However, if I try and in the console do any sort of printout of any object, variable, anything, if I actually even try to run a statement, it won't work. So we're kind of limited to specific crash debugging essentially. So we're going to be just kind of returning our functions and just slowly getting things working as we go along. So just going to be leveraging Whitelist and just watching the log, which honestly is just going to be a really slow going process. I didn't expect it to go that slow, but that's the nature of it. So let's get stuck into it. First things first, we can go ahead and run it now. Actually, before we do that, I'm just going to quickly finish this tweet. It's embedded natively in the functions tools. I don't know what it's actually. I always forget what it's actually called. No, it's called their function tools or something. Let me just quickly work that out. I'm just going to search it in npm because I know that I know it's in there. And I was playing around with it last night. Where is it? 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 If someone can correct me what the actual name is, NPM, not NPM. It's not functions core tools, because that's basically standard anyway. Could be. No, I don't think it's not. It's function core tools. It's yeah, that's normal. Where's the actual? I always forget the npm package that you need to install. I'm gonna go old Google. Where's it? DuckDuckGo notes. Okay, PowerShell. Let's go to PowerShell. Okay, yeah. So you need function core tools. The .NET Core. Okay, no, it must be function core tools. Is it function core tools? I think it was. Yes, it is function core tools. Sorry, it is function core tools. So you have the function core tools is what contains all the packages needed to run functions, but it's built on the actual. It's built on .NET Core's. Yeah, the .NET Core SDK. So use the SDK and you need the core tools as well. Okay, that makes sense. Yes, I won't forget that now. So it's embedded natively in function core tools. All right, so let's carry on and let's have a bit of a squiz at our code here. So let's go crack open. All right, so if we do it to the function, we're not going to even need to worry about debugging because it's fairly. Oh, wrong directory. Get rid of that. Okay, so we've got to get sentiment. So essentially this is the starter here. So first things first, we can, if we query this, let's just initially query it. So if we do an invoke rest method, invoke rest method, URI, pop that in there. We should get, and then we need a method post. We should get a 404 because response code did not indicate success. In the response body, it'll contain a it'll contain a username not found. So if we do the same thing up here, you can see there missing username. So cool. So let's now have a bit of a look at this. So the so to actually the input that is inputted, that sounds so weird, is the actual, is it just basically, I thought you had to call a custom method to be able to get the content, the input, but no, it's already there for you. So if you have a look inside of context, which we can, context, I'm just going to return this, and what we can do is just convert. So we can just basically serialize the entire object as a string. Just helps us kind of see everything inside it. So if we trigger it now, I need a username, so we're just going to put a query string on the end. I'm just going to test. Obviously we get an error, that's perfectly fine. However, if we have a look down the bottom here, Actually, no, that wasn't right. It's missing. Is it username? I always get this confused. I think it's case sensitive. I think it's username. Actually. That work? Duration, identity. I have to hit it now because I can't remember. My product, I can't even remember. No, that triggered a oh, you know why? Actually, no, that's right. The methods post. So if we have a look there now, yeah. So you can see this is the input here. So essentially, you just have a standard input. So essentially, I'm just going to pass in test, which is the username. So that's perfectly fine. So what we can do now is let's return this. And let's take a look at this function here. So we're going to have a look at activity get user. So you can see here, the first thing it does is it calls all this. So the first thing we need to make sure is that it can load our agility pack, then that there's no issues with this. So it shouldn't throw any errors. But what we're going to do is just going to run it anyway and see what happens. So I'm going to trigger it again. What we're going to look for is any sort of errors. Oh, okay, we got some errors. What errors do we have? Activity get user is not found. Okay. So for some reason it doesn't like that. The reason why is because that function.json is it was underscore there, so it had an underscore, so it didn't actually recognize that that was an actual activity. So we can re-trigger that. Actually, I'm going to probably need to reload it because it doesn't detect it. That's fine. Terminate job, yes please. Go ahead and restart it. Okay, so let's go ahead and re-trigger it. Okay, so we're still getting errors, but that's perfectly fine. So what's the errors that we're getting now? So function activity get user is not found. So it's there. So why is that the case now? Does it actually detect those activities? This is an activity as well, so that basically it's the same binding. What I'm going to do is just do that and see what happens. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and call hello1. I'm just testing to see if there's an issue with underscores. Could be that. So what we're going to do is try and automate out. Alright, so once we've done that, we can then call hello1. So let's re-trigger this. Going to restart this. Okay, we've got some errors. What do we have now? Worker failure. No parameter defined in the script, also for the input binding. There it is. There's an input. Testing 1, 2, 3. All right. next thing we need to do is have a quick squiz. I'm going to create another function app. See if there's anything else. There might be something else that's changed. So let's create a orchestrator. Let's just module orchestrator one. Work activity function, function name. Just going to do this. And then if we go back to orchestrator one, okay, so it's just capturing the output, which is perfectly fine. Is it hello what? Yep, I didn't think there was anything in there. So let's just try hello and see if that works. Let's restart function app. So still a fair bit of stuff to fix. I'm going to re-trigger it. So you can see function one hello is not found. Error function one hello one is not found. Are we still calling that within our starter? Yeah, we are. That's why I'm going to write that out and get rid of that. See what happens. I think this is going to break anyway because I'm just going to put this var, and then I'm just going to go right post var. This is giving me a bit of an idea what's going on under the hood. As long as we know we can still trigger it, then I can start working out why. We also need to keep in mind that we've got a lot of functions. I need to probably clear out the all the functions. Yeah, okay, so you see there, hello Tokyo. Okay, cool. All right, so that works. However, if we... So we know that hello works, which is good. So why would get user not work? So it's got a string username, which is fine. There shouldn't be any issues with that. Honestly, I think it's probably because it has the underscore there. I'm gonna try that. What I'm gonna do is just try trigger like this. Let's go ahead and restart it. Okay, don't worry about that, because that's basically an existing job in the queue that's kind of longed. Alright, what's that over here? Error, function activity get users not found. Interesting. So the next thing is the interesting thing here would be is it because of the parameters? Because you ultimately you can see up here there's within hello it doesn't have type. It shouldn't matter at all. But I always wondered about these things. Let's trigger it. There you go. Get sentiment. Oh no, that's get sentiment. Activity get user is not found. Interesting. Let's simplify it now. The next thing I want to check is name. I don't think name is an issue. I don't think it's expecting explicit parameters. It's just input. So I'm also going to clear out all the jobs. Storage Explorer. Because I think we're going to need to, like, I think now. So I'm just going to go find which one it is. Local settings, which one is it? I have no idea which one it is, so we're just going to kind of guess. I have no idea which ones they are. I'm just going to kind of clean these out. I think. Is there any tables? Yes. What's in the history? Oh, that's 28. 28. So yeah, that would be because that would be UTC. So I think it's this one. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and clean this out. Don't know what this is going to do, but we'll find out. So I'm just going to check out the instances. Yep, okay. So there are instances. I can see them. They're all completed. I'm going to clean out. I'm going to clean out the metrics. That's bad, but I will clear out the functions history, and hopefully that'll also help it out a bit, because there's a lot of junk in there that I've been from executing. The problem is that when you have these kinds of functions, they obviously leave residue, and that can cause issues. So I'm just kind of going through and clean all this up, clean up all our web jobs, and I just cleaned out the secrets. Oh well, is what it is. If we need to rebuild it, we can. No, any locks in there? They are locked. I'm just going to clean out that whole thing. Let's see if this function will start now. Hopefully it does. Oh no. What do I got? Okay. No parameter defined in the script or input binding for name. No input binding defined for parameter username that's declared in script or function. So I do wonder if it's because it has to be named. But I don't think it did. I think that's kind of... It might be name. I didn't think that was going to be the case. Alright, we can focus on that later. No, that's not right, because you can pass name, like you can pass whatever you want in there. Like I know that for a fact because I remember it, we had that working previously. So that might be, let's have a look. Okay, so we're okay, so that works. So let's change it. And let's put that there, put that there, put that there, put that there. So essentially what we're going to do now is just step one forward. Let's see what name does. Okay, get user, yep, okay. See if that works. Okay, so we know we got some errors. Why do we have some errors? Activity, get user. Why is it still going underscore user? What? Oh, dude. Making boo-boos today. Let's go ahead and trigger it again. Okay, that's wrong. Let's see what we've got now. If we go back to our get user, you should see the name. Yes, it's test, because we passed test and has a username. So let's just put something else in there. This will help articulate that. There you go. So I've just added a whole bunch of hyphens. So it's passing now. Cool. All right, so that's now working, which is kind of weird because if you think about it, I don't understand why that should be doing that. So I'm just going to shim it for the time being. Alright, so if that's the case, we can carry on now. So I've just shimmed it with, we can carry on. So that should now be able to actually start our code. So let's restart it and continue debugging. I'm just going to change it to oh, lots of red. That's good. I always like to see red. Let's go take a peek at it. All right. So first things first. Oh, we've got some errors. That's good. Let's take a look what we got. Okay. First things first. You can not call the method on a null valued expression. Well, that's handy because we don't know where that is. So this is really where debugging is important because debugging will fix this issue quite quick. So let's actually work out what's going on there. So I think what's probably happening is, honestly, you cannot call it, it's probably trying to do something wrong here. But we're going to have to log the living daylights out of this now to actually work out what's going on. It could also be trying to load the .NET Agility pack and it can't. So, well, we're going to be logging like crazy now. So if you're not familiar with functions, if you use write verbose or any of the streams, that basically tells you. Ooh, I think we need to reload this. That tells you. That basically essentially is a log. So it captures the outputs of those streams and then logs them for you. So it does have a throw there, which would be interesting to see. All right, let's have a look at it again. So, I wish we could pop this window out as well. It makes it so much easier. Might just push this up a little bit because we'll be focusing more on this. Okay, so executed request. Started that, get the user, started activity get user, you cannot call the method on a null valued expression. Somewhere here. That was early. Why is it can't get the location? Why can't it run get location? Why can't it actually add the HTML agility pack? Does the agility pack even? Well, it's not even that it doesn't exist. It's the fact that it can't even like combine the string. It's running PowerShell 7 too. This is not making sense at all. Yeah. Oh, why is it doing that now? I just want to see if it can actually get the location. I do think it's able to get the location. It might just not be able to. So just gonna put some of these in there so I can kind of quickly find it because it's really a bit of a challenge at the moment. Start this thing. All right, let's see what we got. Okay, lots of errors. That's fine. Okay. Wow, okay, so that's interesting. Can't run get location. That legitimately couldn't happen. Like, I'm just gonna do a write post. Okay, no, it did. It's just that I'm using I was using write for both, so you have to turn up the logging. That's fine. All right, let's see. I'll just need to change that. I'm literally one-lining this because the debugger is broken. Does that exist? Yeah, that works. It exists. You cannot load a null valued expression. Okay, so I think this all works. So now I'm going to do the old here. Try and work out, is it? I'm just going to go +1. This is the old way of debugging. I'm just going to do a +2. And let's just go ahead and reload this bad boy. Let's see what we get. Okay, so it got to 2, you could see there. Okay, so it got to 2. I'm intrigued now to see if it actually invoked the request. You cannot call the method on a null valued expression. I actually do think it's going to be somewhere in here. This is where I think the issues is going to be. But before we get there, I just want to make sure that the rest of the code is fine. So I'm going to add a 3 here. And we're going to have a look at the request as well. I'm just going to go 3. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. Let's see what happens. Okay. So we had a 1 and a 2. Didn't get a 3. Maybe. HTTP requests. What's HTTP requests? Okay, there's your issue right there. There's your issue right there. That's your bug right there. There's no HTTP requests. So what I need to do, so this is where the issue is, because we haven't declared it. So let's go ahead and fix that. We're going to leave 3 there and declare HTTP requests. But I can't remember what this type was because, and I've been gutting things in. So what we might do, let's see if we have it here. Nope. What about profile? Just gotta search in my archive. Here we go. That's what we want. So what we can do is we'll just pop this up the top here. So we can just pop it here. Pop a list in there. So that fixes that issue. And then we've got a 3 here. So what we can do, I'm just going to reload the actual function app and see if we can fix that. All right, so let's go ahead and re-trigger it. Okay, completely different errors, which is good. So we got a ton of output. Cool, that's what I wanted to see. I want to actually see output. Okay, functions, activity get user, failed. Exception. Key, an item with the same key has already been added. Cool. All right, so we're at 3 now. The next thing is we've got get web user history. Where is that? I think get web history user history is in the profile. Oh boy, we've just nuked the profile. Oh boy, that's bad. That's really bad. Okay, we're gonna really hope that. Oh boy. So the profile contained a lot of the supporting libraries, and I've just nuked it when I recreated it, and I totally forgot about it. Oh boy, okay. I think I need to take... Oh, this is going to be a big job now. Because I think actually, no, I don't know. I don't think so. So these are essentially needed to be imported into that profile. So let's go ahead and do that. So you can put functions within here. They'll be referenced by your activities. So any of your functions, you can all use them. Convert to user host. I'm just going through these now because I think that there's going to be issues. Close all of this. We declare our user post. Okay, so I've already converted it to a PS custom object. So initially classes, and then I removed the classes. So this is, yep, converts it to a post. So that should be fine. Then we go get web user history. It looks good. Get sentiment. This is looks okay. These off, split paragraph. I'm just looking for anything that's referencing a custom type. If you see something, let me know. One of the really cool things about this is that it batches the requests up to Azure Sentiment Analysis. So it's not just sending an individual request. And so it needs to have some code that's able to dynamically build it. So you can see what this does is it builds the actual body of the request. Then you can send it up to sentiment analysis. And so I just got a switch statement here, and I'm looking at the different types of paragraphs because we can split the paragraphs out. And then I can actually start creating my sentiment body, which is really quite cool. Add the last output, get the post content. So yep, this is the one. That looks good. That looks good. Also, I can probably clean this a bit up with a bit more regex. So that's something there. This is another interesting piece of code. It essentially allows you to whitelist characters and blacklist characters. But the thing is that you don't just want to rip out all characters because each character has meanings. So for instance, the sent icon, the sent character is actually not allowed by sentiment analysis. So essentially what it allows you to do is this can substitute those characters for those words, still giving the same meaning to sentiment analysis, which is really important. So you're not breaking any of the functionality, you're just replacing it with an actual known value. Right, that looks good. So let's go ahead and restart our function app. Oops, didn't want to do that, I wanted to clear here. Restart that, clear that. Let's go ahead and start our function app. Alright, so first thing we're going to go back to is activity get user. And we should have now get web user history. I'm actually just going to quickly check to make sure it's there. Yes, it's there. Cool. Alright, so this should now work. We have requests. It should be able to actually go through and do that request for us now. So let's check it out. Bit of red, that's all right. Let's go have a look at what's going on here. Exception. Item of the same key has been added. Content. Okay. What I'm going to do here, let's just do this. I'm going to get rid of number 3, and then we're just going to kind of rerun it and then work out what's going on in here, and we can kind of work out based on the output. Okay, it looks like it got to number 2, and it had a foo-foo. Interesting. I'm just going to quickly change Spotify tracks. So it okay. So it started at 2. I want to have a quick squiz at get web user history. Yes, okay, invoking message lookup. Where is that? Do you see any invoking message lookup? Don't know why I did that. clean that up. This is tough. Trying to digest all this data that's being pumped out. Honestly, it makes it a bit easier if we can pop this window out and I can actually search the content. Can I actually search content? I can. Good. Let's try this. So, is there a invoking message lookup? Let's have a look. No, there's not. All right. Let's see if we can just quickly search something. There we go. Okay. Does it work? Well, let's try that. Oh, okay, that works. All right. So that works. Get web user history. So then technically the next one. I'm just trying to work out, is it an issue within this function itself that we need to work on? Let's go ahead and start this. Oops. What I'm looking for is now minuses. Okay, we don't have any minuses. Interesting. Okay, so the error do that because it's writing output. We don't want output of that. This makes sense. I'm going to try and clean up these logs. Helps me articulate a little bit better. See if we can actually get a legitimate readout this time. Okay, that looks a little bit better. No, still the same. So we're at 2. Where is it outputting? Let's try and watch it again. See if we can actually go to that. Okay. So we have 1, 2. Do we have -2? No. Could be legitimately exiting the loop. That's another key thing as well. Like it might not be. So it's returning the HTTP request. Yep. Back to the sentiment, which is returning that. Interesting. I'm wondering whether it's because of that. So I'm going to quickly try this. I think I might be working it out. Okay, so it only has 1 page. That's fine. Start this. Interesting. The thing is that it get user function activity get user. Yep. So if we write output HTTP requests, I'm wondering if it's expecting it as a type string and that's the reason why it's failing. I'm going to test this, see if that's the case. So easiest way, let's go hello name. Actually, I can just do this. That'll work. Alright, so what we're going to go here is with an orchestrator. And we're just going to call hello. It doesn't matter, we can just pass the input in. It doesn't really care about that. Let's go ahead and restart it. I think what's happening here is that it might be an issue with function app itself again. No. Nope. That's the output. It passed the output. So it's able to return the object. That is a PS custom object though. So there should be nothing wrong with that then. So why is it failing? I'm also put a wait debugger here. If it breaks it, will stop the script anyway. Let's see if it's because it's not actually technically returning. Let's trigger it again. Nope. Interesting. So interesting. Makes me wonder what is going on. So let's actually change this a bit. So let's manually run this code. So what I'm going to do is open up a new console. I'm going to say username equals max power 3. Let's just trigger a right hose. Oh, I'm literally just going to trigger this line for line. Okay, perfect. I'm going to load the agility pack. It should tell me the pack. Yep. Test if it exists. It shouldn't. Yep, it's good. Load the assembly. Good. Put out our parameters. Add that. Vote the request. We've added it. There it is there. Look for more pages. Let's rerun the rest of this. No issues at all. I wonder if it had issues with passing. How do you convert to Clarkson? I can't. You have to export as Clarkson. Let's just. Try. let's see what happens. I'm just wanting to test to see if it's an issue with custom, like if it's an issue with to test if it's an issue with function app itself, or is it something within my code? Because my code works fine. So that's my output. That's a lot of output. A lot of output. There's your answer. That's your answer right there. There was no error. So it could be that we're able to pass that type. So we know it can take a type PS custom object. We need to recreate it as a PS custom object. Honestly, it'll be intriguing to see what happens. I'm gonna just let it run the normal way, the string way first. Actually, the string way first, and then we'll see if it actually can handle a function. Oh, sorry, actually handle using a PS custom object. Okay, cool. Let's stop that. Let's give this a go. Let's re-trigger it. Aha. Now, it could be the fact that it's a type dictionary and we're trying to it might not be able to do that. So, where does it leave us now? Not the way that I want to use it, but let's now go back to the old school way of declaring an array. And see what happens. Not the best way of doing it, guys. But we will see what it does now. We're going to run it because we know that this is not going to run. And then we will test that logic. Because we know that you can get an array, you can get a list back. The issue is what type. I think it's to do with type. So that's where I think the issue is right now. So let's go trigger it again. Okay, still getting errors. All right, this is what we're going to do. Let's now break it down. I wonder if it's because it can't recognize that it's a single item in an array. All right, let's go try this. Let's try this. Because ultimately this is just an object, nothing special. Here's an object, and see what it does. Okay, we're still getting issues. Okay. It could be to do with type. So HTTP request, which I find very interesting. Now I think it's we only want the content anyway. That's what we're really looking for. Yeah, I only want the content. All right, so literally passing static string back. Let's see what happens. Could be a limit of the string, could be a limit of the object. That these are things that we need to find out. Yep, it's object. All right, so let's now change the object. Let's make it an array. So we're going to define a static array within the object. We're going to create it. Let's just create it. Let's see what happens now. Let's see if it's a one item array or a list, and see what happens now. It could be that it's just a single item, and if we add a secondary item, that will fix it, which is kind of hilarious, but we'll see. Alright, let's re-trigger it. Okay, that worked. So it can pass in a single item array back, which means it's type. So let's now change it so that it's just going to see if we can, what type is this? HTTP request. What type is it? Okay, so it's a basic HTML web response object. So we're just going to add just some random things in here. Let's just add links as well. I honestly think this is the issue here. .content. So let's go ahead and restart that. So that worked. No issues. All right. Let's now kill it. It could be the object type, which is again very interesting. So let's just create that. We're just going to go dot. add custom object, like that. Let's see what happens. I think let's see what happens now. Interesting. It's of that specific object type. That was the issue. Since we've just published some random content, that seems to fix it. Interesting. Interesting. This is what you get with super public preview though, so you know, it's just kind of being able to navigate the technical issues and work your way around those kinds of things. So does anyone have any questions while we're doing that? I'll just keep cracking on. So got parameters. So if that's the case, we can clean that up. We're going to keep the HTML web because I do think we're going to need that again. User history. So we're going to need to clean this one up as well. So I'm going to make sure that what we're outputting in that profile is fine. So you can see here already. So we need to do that, fix that issue. And then we just go that, and that, fix that, and we just reload this function out. So fix that issue. Alright, so that seems like it's working now, which is good. Very interesting though. So it can't pass certain outputs, and then it just fails catastrophically. All right, cool. Let's go and now see. Just going to drop a return here. Oh, actually, we need to do a drop a return here. So now what we're going to do is fire all that content out to scrape web posts. Again, we're going to find out if an underscore is an issue. But before we do that, we need to fix scrape web post. And we have two types of, well, we've got multiple inputs. So what we probably need to do here is reserialize that as JSON and then pass them in. So that's one of the things we'll do quickly now. I'm just going to parameterize it and then splat it in. This makes it a little easier to kind of articulate what's going on here. So we have a no wait as well. And I'm just going to go no wait because true, because that's a switch statement. Just going to pass that parameters in like so. We splat them in. And all we're going to do here is create a hash table. Post. Like so. Like that. So what we can do here, so we've got post, blah, blah, blah. Get rid of that. Then we can just convert that to JSON like so. So essentially, pass that in. Now we're going to need to fix up our other side now because we have multiple parameters which we can't use. So let's go and grab activity scrape web post. Let's fix this one up. Interesting, it's already broken. So parameters name, and we're actually expecting certain things there. So what we can actually do is now deserialize attitude. Alright, so what we can do now is we can deserialize that input. So we're just going to call this object name convert from JSON like so. And then what we can do is I'm just going to shim this so I can kind of at least preserve some of the source code without having to rewrite the whole thing, and we can fix it later. So like so. So that allows me to shim that. I'm going to leave that commented like so, so I know why I did that, because I'm going to definitely forget in the future. And then the next thing I need to do is uncomment all this. So again, we need to load our assembly, and we need to convert it to a user post. Honestly, I could probably bring that into this activity, to be honest. That's probably something I could do, which would probably make more sense than just kind of fuffing around back into the profile. So what I'm going to quickly do is see if there's anywhere else in this project. I don't think it will. Yes, only one. Okay, so let's go to profile and we can pull that out. So convert to user post. Oh boy. Okay. There's a reason why I probably left it there, because it is a doozy. All right, let's get it working. We'll refactor our code later. I actually wanted to get this working at least. All right, this, to be honest, we're going to probably be paying in that side of that function anyway, but we'll give this a go anyway. So I think I'm going to do a quick right post here. We can search in our logs, so we can kind of work out what's going on. So that'll kind of help us. Because debugging is broken. We don't need to worry about that. All right, let's go ahead. And so now that's all working, which is fine. So it's going to go ahead and close that. So the next thing we need to check is this part. So I'm just going to run it. We're going to see what happens. Exclude any objects. Just going to do a quick write host in here. Like so. Let's go ahead and start it. Okay. So once we've got this going, which is taking its sweet time. Okay, actually that's not me. That's me taking my sweet time. So it will now trigger, so we can see what's going on here. All right, we got some errors. Good. What's going on? Why is we get some errors? Okay, so we got our output. Start sentiment collection, starting fan out orchestration. Yep, so it's there. cannot bind parameter to task because it's in an empty array. So where is task? Where is that? Wait activity function. Interesting. Now the reason why probably is because there's nothing there. So this is a user that probably haven't. I probably need to go grab a new user because this user doesn't have anything. But this is a test case that we need to test for. So we're basically saying what we can say here is just user not found or something like that, because there's no data at all. It went through here, tried to farm it out, and there was nothing there. So the way we can do that, since there were no parallel tasks, so what we can do here is just say if test parallel file count is equal to 0, so we can then basically say right warning, and then we can say here if I'm just going to actually make the user I'm just going to say username does and what we're going to do here is we can just write output. Our body, go ahead and restart that. Let's go ahead and restart that. All right, so once we've done that, I just want to make sure this works. We might need to take a step back because if this user doesn't have any content, we're going to need to test another user account. And it could be that basically the site's changed it. Yeah, so you can see MaxPower doesn't have any posts. If I actually get the status, completed. Yep, output MaxPower doesn't have any posts. I actually might just call it no data. No data. No data returned. Oh, no data found on. No data found. No data found for username like that, and that will work. And then we can just return, and return will just obviously break the thing. So let's just re-trigger it again and see if it looks like what we want. Okay, so yep, doesn't have any posts, no output data. Oh, no such API, that's fine. Status query. And you can see here, let's quickly pull this over. The output there is no data found for MaxPower 443. So that works really well. So cool. All right. I'm going to go find another user. That's the next thing we're going to do. Let's go and do that. I'm slowly just going to go to the copper site and then just grab the first one. Looks like old mate here, it'll be the bloke we will use. It'll be called See the World. So let's go ahead and start a function. And now we're going to whoa. Okay, lots of errors. Lots of errors. Lots of errors. All right. Oh, mate. Oh, boy. Maybe I should have I chose the wrong user. One big old object. All right. I think what we need to do is step back once and head back into here. We need to make sure that we can enable this, not scrape, sorry. I'm going to step back, make sure that we were able to get our requests, because that's the first step. So I'm just going to hit it again, see what happens. Alright, so that's started. Let's hit this user again. We're going to get a whole bunch of errors. Okay, so you can see here we're getting a whole bunch of errors. Okay, we got a big errors. Okay, let's go ahead and terminate. Alright, so let's go have a look at that. So I'm going to get user. So you can see here, HTTP requests, .add. So the one thing we did have issues with is we weren't able to add. So we've got a custom generic list PS object. That's perfectly fine. Now it could be the fact that get web user history is not playing ball and it's not playing nicely. So let's go have a look at that. So, and that's the reason why there, because I made a boo-boo there. So now I actually changed that. That should be able to add it and not throw an error for each of those items that it's trying to add to a list. Okay, let's see if that fixes it. Let's trigger it. That looks good. That looks really good. That's really good. That's excellent. So that's pulled all the data you can see here. So essentially what it needs to do is it goes through each of the search windows and pulls each of the users' data. So you can see that's worked. The question is now, is it able to actually trigger the content extraction? So let's have a look at where it is at the moment. It's not in. Okay, so it's completed it. Perfect. So let's now cut that, and we're going to paste it here. So this is now going to trigger a whole bunch of activities, and we're going to see what the hell's going to happen here. Doesn't have any posts. Interesting. So I think something's changed. Exclude any objects that contain links less than 500 characters and no data. I'm intrigued now to find out what's going on there. I'm just going to drop a wait debugger on the first one. That'll kind of pause the execution and give me time to have a look at the count posts. Not the best thing, but it'll help. So you can see it's re-triggered. Output 0. So it's not finding anything that basically has something there. Interesting. For each of the HTTP requests in HTTP requests, is it because it actually needs wondering if it's because it needs dot content. It could be because of the type. So we're going to stop it again. And what we're going to do is just do content like so, and see what happens. Okay, output's 50. So there is content there now. That's good. So essentially what was happening is there was an issue with HTML load. Essentially it wasn't loading any HTML in, so it wasn't passing anything. So now it's passing something. We can actually test it. So let's go ahead and shut that down. Should be now to actually invoke that activity and scrape. That should just work. It should, but knowing my luck, it's not. So that's fine. So what we can do here is I'm only going to trigger one and see what happens. Worst comes to worst, I can just turn no wait off. We can kind of work out what's happening. That's perfectly fine as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and start that up. Do I need to re-trigger? I think I might need to re-trigger. Yep, okay, let's trigger it. So it's got the user. Okay, we're right there now. It's now actually invoked that activity. And I can't see it. I can't see inside it. All right. I might need to actually turn off no wait if I want to be able to kind of at least get some sort of visibility inside it. But it might work. It might not work. To be honest, it's a pretty intense process, scraping. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill it. And we're going to basically remove the debugger. And we're going to basically chuck it, let it fall back down here and see what happens. Now, the reason why we actually converted it to a durable function initially was because essentially it was running as a standard function app, but it was taking too long to scrape the data. So, and it's actually better suited as an orchestration. So that's why we actually moved it over. That's not going to be good for my computer. Let's have a look at Task Manager. Oh gosh. It's 43. Oh no, it's not going nuts. I think I might need to increase the workers though. That might actually improve performance. So right now it's scraping on all those different hosts. So it's going through and it's scraping the entire post, which, well, we'll see how long it takes. I might actually shut down my VMs because I need memory, which is kind of funny if you think about it, because I have 64 gig of memory, but I'm at 44. Okay, it shouldn't need to do that. I have no idea what it's doing. I feel like it's got a break. This is the ultimate CPU killer. Shutting down VMs, getting resources back. So how much is PowerShell using right now? Let's have a look. Let's call this. PowerShell. 250 meg, roughly. It's a fair bit. Still don't know why it's and then it just loops around again. Is it not able to actually complete it because it's the checker is resubmitting the same job? Okay, time to stop. We need to kill all the jobs. I need to go through and find all the jobs. I'm gonna kill all the jobs because I'm worried that this is about to go catastrophically bad. Okay. So I'm just killing Durable Functions hub. PowerShell sample hub. I don't think they're that. I think it's alright, let's see what happens now. Now, there should be nothing there. We shouldn't get anything. So essentially, I've just cleared out all the jobs in the system. So it shouldn't decide that it needs to start another job and kind of wreck our instance. What? I didn't do anything. I didn't even trigger it. What? Okay, time to really gut this thing. I'm going through and I'm gutting. I didn't even submit anything and it just, so there's, I think I'm gonna probably need to create a new storage account that I can just kind of biff. To be honest, I could use the local storage emulator, but I know that there was issues with it initially, so I'm literally going through all the, my containers and just deleting all the data in it. So we got metrics. I'm going to keep them. Do we have any queues? Oh yeah, we got a lot of queues. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and biff all them as well. Clear queue. I'm just going to go through and make sure we have any queues. No queue, no queue, nothing in there. Nothing in there. Oh boy. Maybe Firefox is resubmitting, but it does. Firefox would do that. You only would submit a URL when you want to submit it. Alright. Unless it does a lookup, I'll highlight it. Who knows? Alright, let's see what happens now. Please. Please. Okay, I'm going to send one down. Okay. It's pulling. Yep. Okay, I'm going to query it. Okay, it's running. I'm just going to put... I just want to see if it's just because it's iterating through these items and then it's waiting. And then it's going again. Who knows? Who knows why is it doing that? Well, we can see anyway. We'll figure it out. Oh, let's try and trigger it again. I'm actually interested to find out if that's... Okay, it's failed. I'm going to re-trigger that and see if it... Alright, I'm stopping. Okay, so yes, it's going through each of the posts on each of the pages. Okay, perfect. So we know that that's working. Okay, cool. All right. Non-deterministic workflow. All right. What we're going to do though, we're going to flip that, and we're going to run one at a time, and we're going to put a wait debugger here. See what happens now. So essentially, we're just going to trigger one. Let's see what happens. It's going to scrape one post. Okay, so we have issues with scraping that post. That's the first thing we need to have a look at. Invoke activity function, parameters. Why do we have issues? Looks like it's having issues trying to find the parameter input. Value cannot be null. It's not null. What are you talking about? It's not null. The value is not null. I tell you 100% it's not null. It's a JSON object. What are you complaining about? Should re-trigger it. A host error occurred during startup operation. Address is already in use. Yeah, okay, it is. We're gonna kind of just restart this thing. Now, I'm just gonna re-trigger it, see what happens. That isn't null. 100% isn't null. Could be an encoding issue. Could be an encoding issue. Could be an encoding issue. Not null. Could be an encoding issue. But it only happened on the on the other side. So why? I bet you obviously it's going to throw a massive error on the other side. What are you whinging about now? Okay, let's see. Value cannot be null. It's not null! I have no idea why it's whinging about that. I have no idea why it's trying to have a fit at me about that. Could be the fact that we have a no wait on the switch, and the commandlet could have changed. It could be a positional parameter. I'm going to have a look at what the actual commandlet requires. You can use it to invoke a function name, pass parameters, return function output each time the code calls without the note wait switch. The Durable Functions framework checkpoints the progress for each function instance. If any progress or virtual machine recycles midway, yes. That's what I thought. That's what I mean. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, why is it not playing ball then? Alright, that's what I'm gonna do. I'll comment out. See if it actually. Let's see what happens now. If it's an issue with the splat. Stop! Let's see why I whinged. Cool, better, no man. Excuse me. Can I call the message? No, time to wait debugger here. It's very temperamental. Oh yeah, it's very temperamental. Alright, we're going to need to clean it out now again. Check the queue. Yep, it is. Might be able to see if I can flip this. I'm going to see if I can use the storage emulator. Actually, storage emulator started, has it? I don't see it. My storage emulator start, Microsoft. There it is. Storage emulator is way easier because then you can flush the entire thing in one. I can just flush it with clear and then that's it. So it's gonna. Okay, perfect. If it's starting, it started. Perfect. I just need to use storage emulator. Right, let's see if we can. I'm going to just rename this. And then I'm just going to add the local storage. Clean that up. Oops. Off you go. Go away. See if it's. Please don't throw an error. Yes. All right. We should be on storage emulator now. Not using cloud storage, which makes it a little easier to maintain state because I can just clear the whole thing rather than having to go through and manually do it, which is a pain in the backside. So let's go ahead and re-trigger it and see what happens. Okay, so he's triggered it. Now, starting fan out fan orchestration. Test. Okay, so that's worked. Perfect. All right, so what we can do now is stop it because we're in debug mode. And it should carry on where it left off. So we should be able to re-trigger this, and it should just keep going where it rerun that last segment. Worst comes to worst, we'll clear the state and then go again. And that way we can ensure that we have a good outcome. Okay, it's not working. That's fine. Let's trigger it. Okay. Now that, okay, so that's got no weight. So let's go ahead and remove no weight. I don't think it's checkpointed it, but that's worked. So it seems to be, I might need to explicitly cast this as a type string maybe. Like so, and then it will probably pass. We'll test that. Okay, there you go. Oh no, it's still fine. Okay, got some errors. Good. Let's stop. Stop. Good. What errors do we have? Lots. Okay, value cannot be null. Parameter input. Good. All right, so we passed in test. It has a null value. Now that's perfectly normal because essentially it can't deserialize that. So that could be that issue. So what we're going to do now is this. So I'm going to try and explicitly pass it in and see if it can actually take the input. If this can work, we know it, that's fine. I'm just going to explicitly make sure that this is type string. It should be, but I've seen times when this has caused issues. So I'm going to make sure it's type string after the convert to JSON. Let's go ahead and restart it. Now it should be in some error state, so we should need to re-trigger it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that's working. Stop. Okay, cool. All right. So what we're going to do now is let's stop that. Let's try and rerun this using our params. We've got no weight off. Could also be the fact that we got that set to false. That might be having issues with that. Let's trigger it. Stop. Error. Value cannot be null. Parameter input. That's a weird issue. Seems like you can't splat it, or just not the input. See if that works. Okay, so we've got issues now, so let's go ahead and kill that, clear out our storage. Following is over, no. Okay, should have clicked something out. Alright, so we trigger it. Okay. Stop! Okay, why is it failed? Parameter binding exception. The problem is, I'm just going to kill this. That's interesting. Why is that not? Function name. What else we have? Scraping web host, import. I'm just gonna leave it at that. See what happens. Also just gonna wrap that inside a try catch. So that if we have any issues, I'm actually just gonna write the error out to the file so I can actually so if we do have an issue, we can capture the error and we're not kind of having to try and read something in the console, which is just full of text. Right, I'm going to clear our data, go ahead and start and see what happens. Is it a terminating or a non-terminating error? No data found. Yes, I didn't. Anything there now? Where is it causing the error? Now I actually can what we can do is we can use the debugger to test the flow here. So let's do that. What we're going to do is start debugger this time, and then we're just going to use the debugger. We can't look at any of the values in there, which sucks, but we do have we can at least still test the logic flow. So if I try and run something now, it's probably going to make a liar of me. Let's just do it first. That's what happens. So essentially it doesn't execute it. I'm going to check the host. Yeah, it doesn't work. Okay, so it's now trying to invoke it. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. Oh, we can look at it through here. Okay, that makes it a little easier. Parallel tasks. Is there anything in there? There is nothing in there at all. It's an activity input. Yeah, so it has content there. I might need to convert it to XML. I might not be able to deal with JSON. It's the error that we're getting. Any errors? Nope. So it looks like it's triggering it. Is it doing this now? So you can see here, start sentiment orchestrator, here, scrape web post. So it has triggered it. Then why? That looks like that's working. Then where's the error? I'm going to drop away debugger here. Let's see what's going on. Let's restart this. Okay, yep, okay, let's trigger it. So it's starting it. One interesting thing is note how does it have a no wait? No, there's no wait. There is a no wait on it. I have no idea why it's doing what it's trying to do. That's super weird. It really is. Why is it doing that? The thing is, it looks like it's incrementing it by 1. As you can see here, it's executing. What I'm going to do, it could be an issue with the function app that's triggering. I'm gonna I've done that. I should probably start this. What was the error anyway? Okay, so username field. All right, so there are some still issues that it's bringing back to light that we need to look at. I'm able to find HTML utility pack HTML document. Okay. Let's try to rerun this. I think what's going on here now? Orchestration start sentiment collection started. Okay, yeah, starting fan out. Unable to find type HTML agility pack. And the reason why this is happening is because essentially it would have worked initially, but okay, we need to add that logic up the top. It's missing the HTML agility pack logic. All right, let's stop this. And let's go back to our code. So what we need to do here, let's just get rid of you. I just need to go and grab. Because it's using the HTML agility pack within the orchestration itself, we actually need to add this logic to go and add the agility pack. Like so. And that will actually be able to load the HTML and parse it properly. But it still doesn't explain the why that it couldn't actually splat those values in, which I still am struggling to fully understand why. It looks like VS Code is timing out. Yeah, debugging in this is really broken at the moment. I'm actually going to restart VS Code, 2 secs. We can get an integrated console back. I'm also going to clear the storage emulator. That's fine. It's trying to load some C# stuff that it doesn't need. Debugger. Alright, let's start our function app. Let's actually that shouldn't be doing anything. Why is it? You can see here it's re-triggering it each time. And then it basically picks up its great web post. So it's trying to pick up where it last left off. But we're using development storage. I don't know why it's having a whinge. I'm going to stop and start the storage emulator. Give it a clear. It's like clear to data none, but it's using the storage emulator. Well, it should be anyway. Problem is when you have so many requests that you put through in a durable function, it maintains the state. Nah. So where's it pulling its configuration from? Where are you pulling your configuration from, mate? Can't be from the storage account. It doesn't have access to it anymore unless it's gone hunting for it. I'm literally going to rename this to something else. Figure out why it's trying to... I have no idea where it's trying to pull its configuration from. Alright, let's try something else. Unless it's has some ad hoc process. So I'm going to stop the Storage Explorer. I'm just going to see if it still starts. What are you going to do, mate? What are you going to do? Apparently clear doesn't clear. Please ensure every... No. If it works now. Wow, okay. Good stuff. I don't know what to say. Except... sitting here going, oh yeah, okay. We stopped the Storage Explorer to make sure it's not using Azure storage. It isn't, but for some reason, it is. Okay, we triggered it once. Okay, let's see what happens now. I think this thing is bugged. So it's 2, 3, it's re-triggered. It's basically in an infinite loop right now. So function scrape web post activity completed. And then it immediately starts. Oh, I think I know why. I think it needs to have something outputted. If it doesn't like something's being outputted, it basically resumes. Let's just output. Wait activity function. Task, parallel tasks. That's pretty straightforward, you reckon? I think it is. I don't think there's any sort of issues with that. This is more of a fun time trying to work out why everything's not playing ball. Like, it's just the tedious process of navigating function. And there we go. Now we're going to kind of need to stop this, clear this. No data clear, but apparently it is. I'm going to stop it, trigger it. Hopefully that stops it. It's like, it's not running. Just run it anyway. Run it. Need you to warm up, and then we can kind of work out why it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. Okay. Yes, good. Stop. Let's start you again. And then it goes ahead and re-triggers itself. It could be the fact is because we're waiting. That could be doing some issues. I'm just gonna, because when we're invoking the activity function, we're not actually using the no wait. So I'm gonna restart it, see if that's causing the issue. Could be the fact that's the case. Nope, still infinitely looping. 4, 5, 6, 7. Executed, durable function, start sentiment orchestrator, succeeded. Function activity, scrape web post, activity started. Yep. Function, scrape web post, system log, log message, scrape web post, invocation performance details. Information starting activity, scrape web post. Executed functions. Function completed. System log. The thing is that if we got activity scrape web post, we actually don't see it. Actually, no, that's right. So it's grabbing that one. What's going on here? What is going on here? I think I might have been working inside the wrong one. Yup. I was working in my archive directory, which I shouldn't have been touching. This is why we need to nuke it. So what are we scraping? Well, what are we doing? What are we doing? So if we go start sentiment, activity scrape web post, run. Activity direction in. Let's have a look. See what happens. Okay. Now we're cooking with gas. What's going on here? You cannot bind argument to parameter HTML node because it's null. Your functional durable start sentence is queuing results as there's no neighbor. Okay, fine. Okay, so it's starting the ID, but it has no ID, so it can't pass the ID in. So it's unable to pass the parameters in. Why? Why? Let's see what's in the length here. Like that should be completely fine. So I am completely at a loss to why that is not working correctly. It's also throwing an error. Actually catching it this time, it looks like. Yep, okay, we caught the error. Okay, so it's caught it. Okay, let's trigger it. Okay. Let's stop and read it. All right. Parameter cannot be null. It's not. It's not null. So I'm going to do a quick right post. Today's lesson is brought to you by the word it's not null. It's not null. It has a length. Oh. How you going, BW? This is the thing that just frustrates me, because I know, like, honestly, I could rewrite this literally in C# so quickly. All right, so we're in the actual activity now itself. Good. Yes, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, stop. Let's see what's in name. And we'll prove my point. This time, I'm actually going to run it in a debugger. And it's completely broken. And it's broken. Oh. I'm just going to say, yeah, just carry on. Carry on, mate. Keep going. I'm going to Control-C, shut that down. That's going to crash that. That's going to pretty much crash everything. VS Code's about to crash. Alright, let's just go ahead and restart this. I need to restart VS Code. Alright, we're going to prove it. We're printing it out. We're going to also do this. I'm not interested in printing out the full name because that's there's too much data, but we can dump out the length. That's what I'm interested in, is the length. Can it actually pass JSON? Might not be able to, which then means we just have to convert it to XML. But I still need to see what's going on. Okay, I need to clear. I need to stop this. Somehow it clears after I run it. It then goes, oh, you don't have a function app. Oh, you don't have Azure storage space running. So I'm going to just stop it. And then all the jobs are invalid. But only then. Only then. Oh, the joys of... Okay. Yes, you don't have a warm-up. Okay, good. Clear, please. Start. Using chat. Ah, there are a few people. Hello, guys. Hello, fellow watchers. Alrighty. And we've still got issues. Why do we have issues here? But it cannot be null. It isn't null. The reason why this is probably happening is because we've got jobs that are sitting in the queue for some reason that should be there. Is queuing yep, because I'm just going to actually tell it to throw, so we can actually stop the app from killing it, and then it kind of can at least clear those jobs out of the queue. Alright, go ahead and clear, please. Trigger. Okay, it's doing its lookup. And that's... Okay, so All right. So first thing, so scrape web hosts. After request, invocation, performance details, blah, blah, blah. We're here. We have a length of 1. What is going on? Is there a limit or something, maybe, on activities, like a character limit? I have no idea what it's trying to do. All right. We're gonna change this now. We're gonna just pass a straight old hash table into this now. I'm gonna stop this. We're literally just gonna go first custom object. I'm just gonna pass a straight object. Don't know if this is gonna work. It can take it. Should be able to take it. If it doesn't, who cares? We'll need to continue to debug it. And then I'm just going to do like that. Don't need that. Don't need that. So now it's just passing a straight object across. We're not doing any sort of deserialization, serialization. Will this work? Should, but we don't know. Let's find out. Okay. ID has nothing. Now that could be the fact that basically there could be an issue with that specific session. We only got a couple more minutes before we finish this, which is a bit of a shame because we're actually making progress. Alrighty. I think we're just gonna, I think I'm gonna need to stop. So, okay, it seems that we can't, for some reason, okay, actually that's not going to work because object, I just got object to be name. That won't work because object isn't that. Let's see if that works. Yep, that's fine. I want to see an ID, please. I want to see an ID. That's all I care about right now. As long as they're crashing, that's fine because it releases it to the next one. And then I can get the debugger attached. Still no ID. So you can see there, that's the ID that it did have a length though. So what is in there? That's the question. And the other thing is that what is submitting queuing requests? Something is repeatedly queuing a request. It could be, no, because this is, my browser's stopped. It's actually got a thing. It could be polling, but that's different to a new request. I have no idea. That's another, I think that's a bug within the code. Well, we have to get fixed with updates. That's what I'm thinking, yeah. Interesting. Interesting. I think we might leave it there for today. Lots of fixes. Just gonna add a update here. Bug fixes, box fixes, bug fixes, and changes so we don't lose them. Interesting day today. We've completed a little, got things working. Yeah, interesting day. Thanks for joining. Obviously, still an ongoing process. I thought we were going to have it completed for the end of today, but unfortunately we won't. So we're going to have to pick it up next week, and we'll keep cracking on with it. I think I might have a bit of play with it offline as well, just to see if I can fix some of these issues, because ultimately I do want to be moving on to my new series, which is the PowerShell 102 Live. So PowerShell 102 will be basically just expanding on my previous series of PowerShell tutorials, and we're just looking at other aspects of PowerShell as well. So things like PS script analyzer and things like that. So a little bit more advanced. Actually, it's going to be significantly more advanced, but it basically will allow you to do a lot more cool things, especially around the DevOps space. So yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining, and I'll see you guys next week. Anyway, bye for now.